The Super Mario Brothers movie is directed by Michael Jelenic and Aaron Horvath, and let me just tell you, I had an absolute blast with this film. This film is just fun from start to finish, and people are saying that it's an average kids movie, but it's really fun and it really makes it because of the Mario coding. And let me tell you, they're honestly right. There's moments in this film where I wanted there to be a little bit more than just an average kids movie. You know, the character has to learn to stand up for himself and be brave, and then he fights the bad guy at the end, and then he wins. And just more so, I wanted more from the journey along the movie. But what are you going to do with a movie based on a character from a video game like Mario, where all you do is you run and you jump, and that's it? But I just really dug this movie. I had an absolute blast. I tried reviewing this film multiple times, but I just kept going off on tangents because I just love this movie. I really do. And there's so much heart and love poured into this because of all the references to Mario games and Nintendo history and whatnot. Like, you have Mario playing an NES, playing Kid Icarus near the beginning of the movie. That's cool. They're in a cafe called the Punch-Out Cafe, where you see a bunch of Punch-Out characters on the walls and picture frames. And then you have Charles Martinet, who plays Jumpman, who has like one or two lines in the movie. That's kind of cool. Okay? And there's just so many smaller references like that throughout the movie. Not just for Nintendo stuff, but for Mario stuff in general. Like, you see Yoshi's. You see certain areas from Super Mario Odyssey. You see characters in certain other games. And you hear musical cues from other games. All that stuff's really cool. I love all that stuff. But as a movie on its own, like, if you take away the Mario coding, it's just fine. It's enjoyable enough, but with the Mario coding, it's so damn cool. I love this movie. I really do. The second I see it on Blu-ray or 4K, whatever, I'm getting it. Let's start off with the animation. I thought the animation was really damn good. Everything looks so detailed, from snow particles to hair particles to the roughness of some Koopa shells to character designs and models. Like, every character design that isn't in the human world, you know, they just look like regular dumb Illumination characters. Anything involving the Mario stuff, god damn it, it looks so good. Illumination does not have good character design at all in terms of most of their other movies. They're either just really fat characters with small stubby legs, or really pencil thin characters, or a weird mix of in between. They all look boring and uninspired and bland, but they have to constrict to whatever Nintendo stuff they have to do, and it all works out. I like the redesign of most of these characters to match with whatever voice actors are voicing them. Before I move on to voice acting, the animation, to finish that off, this is a very colorful movie. The colors just pop out. I like a lot of the locations. The character movements are all really good too, and then again, having to play into what these characters move like and how they walk around and whatnot. You get Mario running with his hands behind his back sometimes, like he does in certain games. You get Peach holding her dress in certain moments. It's just, goddamn it. The look of this movie is just really good. And it's directed really well, too, at certain moments. Not just characters talking to each other back and forth, yada yada, but in more of the action scenes. You get some scenes framed like it's an actual Mario game. You know, the horizontal side-by-side whatnot movements. And then the camera moves in around as the characters are jumping from block to block and stomping on these characters and whatnot. It's just fun direction for fun action scenes in this movie. Voice acting, this was the biggest concern going into this movie. Who would be the voice of Mario? It's not Charles Martinet, it's Chris Pratt. And people were dogging on Chris Pratt ever since that announcement dropped in like October of 2021, I think, is when they announced it. He did a good job. I thought Chris Pratt did a good job as Mario. He has a lot of moments where he can do certain Mario noises. And I really appreciate that about it. And he doesn't just sound like Chris Pratt. I got used to it as the film went on. Not that I wasn't used to it in the beginning, that I had to get used to it, but I just really dug his performance. But the standouts in this film, as everyone is saying it, is Charlie Day as Luigi and Jack Black as Bowser. They kill it. And it sucks because Luigi gets sidelined hard in this movie. As you know from the trailers, he gets captured. And he's captured for most of the movie. It's not like he makes attempts to escape and whatnot with the help of other characters. No, he's just in a cage for a majority of the second act and the third. But anytime Charlie Day as Luigi is speaking, damn it, that's so cool. That's almost exactly how I imagine Luigi talking in a movie like this. And Jack Black, he kills it. Jack Black is awesome. He is funny. He has moments that are, bone chilling just because of how he can like growl and stuff. It's so cool. Okay, Jack Black as Bowser. He can be menacing and he can be extremely funny at times. I think it's awesome. I don't know how else I can imagine Bowser talking without sounding like that goofy ass Bowser from Super Mario Sunshine. When he has like actual dialogue. It's so weird, but they knocked it out of the park. And everyone else is just fine. Not fine, but they're good. Everyone else is just really good, and especially with some characters getting redesigned. Like Donkey Kong had to get redesigned for Seth Rogen, and he's a little more cartoonishy. He's not, the Donkey Kong that we're used to over the past 40 years or whatever. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is good. I enjoyed it. I thought Seth Rogen, he seemed like he was having fun. Good for him. I thought he had a good performance. The one thing that I think everyone can agree on is Cranky Kong. Cranky Kong is played by Fred Armisen, and he doesn't really sound cranky at all. He just sounds like an old guy. If you've heard Cranky Kong voices throughout the years, his little, grunts and whatnot, it doesn't really sound like Cranky Kong in this movie. That's everyone's biggest, gripe with the voice acting, I think. It's almost unanimously agreed, just like how it's unanimously agreed that Charlie Day and Jack Black are the best parts of the voice acting. But other than that, I thought everyone else did a good job. Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, I thought she was really good in the movie. And Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, it was good, enjoyable. Toad had a few good lines here and there, but for the most part, he doesn't really do much for the movie. If Toad wasn't there, I think the movie would still almost be the same. Just like how if the Luma wasn't there, the movie would be the same. Because when the trailer dropped with the Luma character presented, I think everyone lost their shit and thought, oh my god, they're going to do stuff to Mario Galaxy. This is going to be really cool. But they don't. The Luma character is just there to be a comic relief character. But I'm not complaining about it because the Luma character was funny as hell. How it just wanted to die. It had no faith in being rescued. The Luma wanted to die. And my entire theater, including myself, burst out into laughter because we thought it was just extremely funny. This cute, adorable little character wants to die and is looking forward to the sweet embrace of death. We just thought that was funny as hell. Alright, let's talk about the biggest elephant in the room, the biggest issue I think people have with the movie, that being the additional music for the soundtrack. Now, the music for the movie, let's go off on the regular score for a second, is phenomenal. I thought Brian Tyler knocked it out of the park with his reimagining of most of the Mario music throughout the 40 years that Mario was Mario, or the nearly 40 years that Mario existed. He did an absolute blast. The soundtrack has so many bangers in it. It's fantastic. And everything that was originally done by Koji Kondo, the original composer for a lot of Mario games, and the reimagining of those by Brian Tyler, it's all great. You hear Gusty Garden Galaxy in the closing credits of the movie. That reimagining was just beautiful. And just certain smaller moments that are, present throughout the movie. I love it. It's because Mario music is just undeniably full of charm. And to hear it reimagined, God, it's beautiful. And to hear it on the big screen, it was beautiful. Anything involving the music, the composed music, was just spot on, and I loved it. Even original pieces were great too. I thought they all sounded pretty great too and fit the tone the movie was going for in certain moments, whether they be smaller emotional beats or heroic, triumphant feats. I thought they were all great. But the biggest issue everybody has with the music in the film is the additional music, that being the music for the soundtrack. Not the composed music, but additional music such as Battle Without Honor or Humanity. I had to look that up because everyone knows that piece of music, but the music from Kill Bill. Everyone knows that music. I just couldn't remember the name for the life of me. They use it for like 4 seconds in the movie. We didn't need that. And it doesn't add anything to the movie. It's just there for the sake of, oh, this is the popular music that we can use. Let's put it in there. It like all these moments where they introduce this music, like Take On Me when we're in the Donkey Kong country land. We don't need that. It adds nothing to embracing the world of Donkey Kong. When I think of Donkey Kong and the Donkey Kong land that they're at, I don't think of Take On Me. Well, now I do because that's what's in the movie. When we had music composed for that, we could have used that. But no, we had to use Take On Me. Holding out for a hero when Mario is, doing the obstacle course. I can get why you put that there. But then again, no movie should use Holding Out for a Hero when Shrek 2 did it best. I think everyone is in agreement with that. Okay? Because every time Holding Out for a Hero shows up, we all think about Shrek 2 and how awesome it was used in that. The only one I don't have an issue with is No Sleep Till Brooklyn being used as Mario and Luigi hustled to one of their jobs in the beginning of the movie. It's kind of fun. It is. And especially since we haven't dove into the Mushroom Kingdom side of the world yet, I think it's perfectly fine just because, they're in Brooklyn and they're running through this like it's a Mario level and it's kind of fun and I get it. So that's the only one I don't have an issue with. Another one that people have an issue with that I get, I understand the intent of it being there, was Thunderstruck. It's when the Mario Karts are being assembled and whatnot in the Donkey Kong world. I get why it's there. Certain moments, that are aligned with the music. I get it, but it's like, you have the Mario Kart music. Or just have Brian Tyler compose an original piece. You have Brian Tyler. Brian Tyler's a great composer. We're stuck with it. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just that's Illumination's decision. Everything else, Shigeru Miyamoto and Nintendo were breathing down their necks, but I'm pretty sure when they looked away for a millisecond, Illumination snuck in that piece of music there and everywhere, so thinking they wouldn't notice. I like all the action scenes. I like all the references, deep cut references too, and just references in general. The Mario rap, the Mario Brothers rap used for their commercial, and then they used their actual, or Mario's tries to sound, Italian, like how Charles Martinet sounded for the Mario voice. I thought that was kind of funny. I love all the references. There's the Sand Kingdom in Mario Odyssey that they go through for a second. I thought that's kind of cool. The Luigi's phone has the GameCube sound as its ringtone. That's kind of cool. I just love the references in this movie. It's really fun. You see a cap shop in the Mushroom Kingdom. That's really cool. I want to see an Odyssey reference in the next movie. Or I want to see Odyssey played more into it where Mario gets his cappy. I think that'd be really cool. Pacing. I didn't have an issue with the way the film was paced. It's just, it never lets up, really. The first act is a little, come on, we want to get to the Mario stuff. We want to get to him in the Mushroom Kingdom. We want to get to that stuff more and more. But we're not in the human world for that long. There is a moment where it feels like the film could have done more. That being Mario and Peach's and Toad's adventure to the Donkey Kong land. I felt like that journey should have had a few moments in there where Mario does stuff. Rather than just, oh, we're on a little adventure. We see these places for a few moments here and there, and then we're in the Donkey Kong world. You could have had a moment where the characters are in danger and Mario saves the day. I think that would have been really fun. That would have been really cool. Or Mario tries to save the day, but then Peach does, and then Mario feels a little insecure about himself, playing into the stuff about earlier in the film where him and Luigi, he's dragging Luigi down and whatnot because they left their old job and trying to be plumbers on their own and whatnot. But it's whatever because the film is just really fun and enjoyable and exciting and I loved it. I hope I don't get called a sexist for this, but I didn't really enjoy how Peach was this extremely perfect character with absolutely zero flaws. I like my characters to struggle in movies. I had this issue with Rey in the Star Wars films. I wish she struggled physically as well. She never lost a fight. And in this movie, Peach is just perfect from the very beginning. She doesn't struggle whatsoever. I like seeing Mario struggle. I like seeing his insecurities. Peach doesn't even have any insecurities about oh, I can't be a good leader. And she doesn't have any insecurities about being the only human in the Mushroom Kingdom before Mario arrives. I would have liked to see smaller moments like that. I mean, I get it. She's a girl boss in this movie. And it's really cool to see her use the fire flower and the ice flower and to fight all these characters at the end of the movie. I thought that was really cool. But there's a moment where she shows Mario the obstacle course and she does it. And then Mario, almost does it but fails. She's like, oh, I'm proud of you. Yada, yada. It took me a while to finish it. Mario goes, you did it on your first try, didn't you? She goes, yes, I did. I'm like, I'd like to see my character struggle. That's it. Overall, this was a very enjoyable film to me because if you can't tell, I love Mario. Okay? I love his games. I love the character. It's just Mario's been an important part of my life just because I grew up playing GameCube and Wii and Game Boy and GameCube and I have a Switch. I love Mario. Okay, Mario's great. And I've always wanted to see a Mario movie. We all know about the live action Mario movie and how bad that is. But even then, it's still kind of fun. But with this movie, it's just so damn enjoyable. It's an average kids movie, but with the Mario coating on it. I also found the film to be very funny. There are so many moments where you can just laugh. Like I won't spoil a scene, but Koopa asks Bowser, "What if Peach doesn't want to marry you?" What happens after that is just funny as hell. My entire theater erupted into laughter. And Peaches, I'm gonna say Peaches. Everyone burst out laughing at that scene. Myself and my girlfriend included. We thought it was fucking hysterical. We keep sending memes about it to each other. It's funny as hell. Also, I didn't find the film to be too childish with its humor, like how most Illumination films are. You know, toilet humor and just haha, dumb kid joke humor and minion humor. I cannot stand the minions now. They were charming in the first movie because they're just little side characters, but now they have to have their own dedicated moments to each other. And they also have two movies. I didn't see the second one. I saw the first one. The first one's really dumb. Because why are you going to have a movie with the Minions as your main characters? But because of Illumination having Nintendo and Shigeru Miyamoto breathing down their necks throughout this movie, they couldn't do their usual Illumination antics. And I couldn't be more happy about that because it made the film much more funny. But overall, I love this movie. I thought it was an absolute blast from start to finish. Voice acting's great. The action scenes are fun and enjoyable. I love all the Mario references. The music's amazing. It's just really fun. And I think the coolest thing about this movie was that behind me there was a row of like 10, 12 kids all decked out in like Mario hats and gloves and shirts and stuff. That was really enjoyable because not only are 20, 30, 40 something year olds going to enjoy this movie with all the references and music cues from Mario games and just seeing Mario on the big screen again in a good way. But I think kids can really enjoy it too because it doesn't overstay its welcome. It moves kind of quickly and I really like that about this movie. I was initially worried that the movie was only going to be 90 minutes long, but it's not an issue. The movie moves along very swiftly. It's really fun all the way through. It's an average kids movie with the Mario coding to make it even better. And that's not to say that it's just for kids. I think anyone of any age can enjoy this movie and have fun. But overall, yet again, I love this movie. I have my small issues with it, but I had an absolute blast, and I think most people are enjoying this movie. Look at the Rotten Tomatoes critic score compared to the audience score. I never really use Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that to justify ratings. Actually, I never do use that to justify my ratings. But I think it's really interesting because most things I read online, like Instagram and Twitter and whatnot, everyone is loving this movie. Everyone who I talked to at work loved the movie. They all thought it was just really fun and enjoyable. And I don't get why people are going into this movie, critically like, I didn't like the arc that the Mario character went through. Fuck it. It's just I had an absolute blast with this movie. This movie was made for Mario fans, and they're eating it up. And it's not like they're eating it up like it's a bad thing. They're eating it up, and it's a great thing because it's a great movie. It's a really good movie. I'm giving the Super Mario Brothers movie a B+. I had an absolute blast with it. It's making bank. It's nearly at $1 billion at the box office. That's nuts. I saw this opening weekend. It just took me a while to get this review out because I just kept going off on tangents and making my reviews, and I got busy with certain things happening in life, but here's the review now. Better late than never, huh? So, what did you think about the Super Mario Brothers movie? Did you love it? Did you really love it? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below, and I'll be back with more movie reviews like this. So, yeah, bye.